about that. The police are on the way.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Finally,
can you
it's
cue
our
Hotline?
podcast, AJ.
Now we can let's play on with pure audio.
All right, can we?
So fucking stupid.
Saturday Night Right for Fighting.
It's a
All
good
right.
song.
Oh, that is a really good
There's a
song. Elton John.
Nickelback cover.
bang.
That's actually also pretty good.
Okay.
It's not as good as Elton John.
I'm okay. Listen,
Nickelback gets more hate than they deserve.
you know, and here's the deal, AJ. I
Yeah.
hate to say it, but
What's
he's
that?
actually kind of right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Did they sell out? Yes. Yes, they did. However, they, in comparison to Creed,
Well, yeah.
like, I know that's a low bar.
Yeah, but Creed's just Nickelback with an agenda.
I am Saruman the
Did you
Wise.
hear about Nickelback's funk album that they released in like 2011?
No.
Yeah, it was really bad. One of their songs was like popular on TikTok for a while. It's the one where it's like, "Fucking little monkey, she's a twisted sister. Cherry Cola roller coaster."
I see. No, I don't know why. What do you mean? This sounds incredible.
I
10 out of 10. My new favorite song.
I'm just asking for a friend. What's the name of this album? AJ?
I don't remember because I saw a YouTube review
Is it
of
fucking
it.
little monkey twisted sister?
Did we just
Actually,
find?
yeah.
Did we just find my first S tier
Tier
10 out of 10 album?
Never even listened to it.
Based
Just
off
that
alone.
little rendition that AJ did was enough to give you an S tier.
Listen.
Welcome back to another episode of Tom Hates Albums.
Yeah, I do.
I'm your host, AJ Tenari.
I'm Matt Glass.
And I'm Tom Murphy.
Last time we talked about Talking Heads Remain in Light, an album that Tom did not quite like, as we found out.
It's an album that you want to make sure you're hydrated for, as we said before.
Exactly.
Because, the first song will give you a headache.
It takes a lot out of you.
and a stomach ache, honestly.
You got to roll under punches with that one.
Because the heat goes on.
Exactly.
You might get diarrhea.
You just might.
well.
But this month we're switching. Actually, we're staying kind of similar to Talking Heads in terms of style and genre, because we're bringing on Paul Simon's Afro-inspired album, Graceland.
Yeah. Paul Simon is probably regarded as one of the best singer-songwriters of like the last few decades, I'd say. Like he really blew up as like in the folk scene.
Yeah.
With his partnership in Simon and Garfunkel. And then kind of went on to make a lot of, I'd say, pretty successful records for the most part, and underscore, I believe, a couple movies. So,
And then he blew the fuck up with this one.
yeah, this one came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
It is Graceland by Paul Simon.
Is indeed Graceland. Well, before we hop into this history, shall we do you have any opening thoughts before we hop into our
I
order?
don't think so. I don't really want to give too much away. I feel
Okay.
like my opening thoughts are usually... Yeah, I kind of want to
You wanna
save them
save
for the
it?
closing thoughts.
All right.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
So
Oh,
it's
did you guys want to do any predictions?
I was going to
for how
say, it might be prediction time, I think.
Yes, yes.
We should really come up with like a jingle for that.
It's prediction time. There you go. That was off the dome. That's the kind of talent I bring to the
That's pretty
podcast.
good, dude. Honestly, yeah.
I can auto-tune that and probably put something in, you know?
I don't think you should. I think it should be
that isolated clip.
at least this time, and then going, let them really sit in how bad that was, and then you can
No.
make it good for the next
No,
episode.
you just take that clip and just put it in every episode here on out.
I wouldn't even be upset.
And then it has to have like a little like horn at the back. It's like,
It's like a shitty bugle horn.
it's like the opposite of Family Meeting, where it has
literally.
like the
So much
angelic,
effort.
like,
Just give me an actual bugle horn and let me attempt to play it once. And
Just peek the mic.
that's incredible.
Family heads, hope you're enjoying this little behind the scenes creative process.
But here's the deal. We're going to jump into our predictions about whether or not Tom liked this album.
Yeah.
AJ, how about you go first? Because I unplugged my headphones again.
God fucking damn it, Matt. Excuses on professionalism. Tom, I think you, for the most part, like this album. I don't think it's anything that you quite liked, but there's definitely songs on here that you enjoyed. I'm going to say your favorite tracks were You Can Call Me Al. I'll say the title track, Graceland, Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes, but I think we kind of spoiled that on a different meeting. And I think you're going to give this about a 6.8. I'm changing to 6.8. Matt, what did you think?
I can definitely agree with like one of the tracks at least were definitely Tom's favorite. You Can Call Me Al is quite literally like it's one of the Paul Simon songs. There's off the top of my head, like Kodachrome is one of the big ones that he had. Slip Sliding Away, and then like what is it? You Can Call Me Al. I would say like
that's also just like a defining 80s song as well.
literally, I was about to say, and Tom, a lot of your music taste is in like the 80s. So I would say that, like, I'm not going to say any of these other songs you really liked, to be honest with you. And that makes you kind of racist. So frankly,
How's it feel to be called out, Tom?
I think you
Just
hated.
wait for my review.
I think you. I have some songs I think you hated. I think you really hated track number 3.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh wait, never mind. Track number 4.
Track number 4. Okay.
I think you really, really hated track number 4. I don't know why, but when I was listening to it, I thought to myself,
man, Tom would really hate this album.
it's just like the title. That's crazy. No, in terms of ranking, I don't know. This one's a hard one. I definitely think 7 is way too high.
Yeah.
7 is way too high, AJ. I got to be honest with you.
That's why I said 6.8.
You said 7 in the beginning, though.
And then I changed it.
Oh, okay.
Because I had the same thought.
I'm going to edit it so that it's not changed.
AJ
So-
thought 7's way too high. Let me take it down 0.2.
That's not what I said.
You went from 7.
I went to 7.5 to 6.8.
Oh, 7.5.
Yeah,
I think you gave it
I forgot
probably,
it was 7.5. My bad.
I feel like you probably gave it like a 7.5 out of 10.
I just
roughly.
really
Sorry,
wanted.
7 out of 5 out of 10.
I just
That's
can't
what
believe
mean.
you gave me a 10 out of 10. You thought I liked it that much? You thought this was my S tier?
You know, you're right. This is how silly of me.
No, I
6.8.
Stop gaslighting me.
6.8.
That's my job.
frankly, I don't know. I think 6 might be the highest, but I'm willing to bet honestly that it was
bet a
more in
5.
the 5 range. Like I want to say like 5 point. I'd say at the highest 5.6 or 5.7.
Keep those good guesses going, Matt. You're on a hot streak.
I have a feeling I'm wrong with this one because this was one where I feel like it really could have gone both ways. But I'm very positive that Tom did not like track number 4. Like
That's a guarantee.
For some reason, I'm really positive that Tom hated track number 4. And if I'm wrong, I'll be
Then you're racist.
I'll be pleasantly surprised. And yes, I am racist. We already knew
That just goes without
though.
saying.
Yeah, you've been following me for a little while now.
Exactly.
But
I guess
yeah.
with that, shall we get into a little history?
Yes.
Aye, Captain.
All right. So Graceland by Paul Simon was released August 25th, 1986 on Warner Brothers Records, and it is the 7th solo studio album by legendary folk star and singer-songwriter Paul Simon. After falling into a deep depression due to problems in his personal life, Simon eventually bounced back after becoming interested and inspired by South African music. He traveled to South Africa to record some instrumentals with local South African musicians, which became the primary influence on his most successful solo album. And there's also some controversy tied to this album due to him going to South Africa while apartheid was still in effect. And
I did hear about that a little bit.
And there's also kind of controversy about that he was appropriating culture or if he was spreading it more to the West. So it's kind of like up to interpretation on how you feel. But that's history of Paul Simon's Graceland.
I was kind of wondering about that last part because a part of me did kind of feel like it
Yeah.
could have been seen a little bit as that.
Yeah.
But then when I heard about the apartheid happening at the time,
Yeah.
I definitely, that did raise a few questions
Yeah.
for me, for sure.
A little yikes. But hey, the music's still pretty good.
I was going to say, there are a lot of really like fine musical moments on here.
Exactly.
Like it's definitely, in my opinion, like a worthwhile album to listen to, even just for historical purposes, if
And
you
it's-
want to form an opinion on
Yeah.
it.
It's still like well regarded today as well.
Yeah.
But Tom, what did you think? Broad thoughts.
You guys were so wrong, like predominantly in a lot, except for number 4 does suck. I did hate that song. My note under it is predominantly fine, which I spent about 3 minutes looking at. Like, wait, what did I? Because I thought it said predominantly fire, and I was like, why the fuck?
why would I
I
say
gave it a
that?
3 out of 10. Why did I write predominantly fire? And I figured it out.
Predominantly wrong, you say, though. I'm so fascinated to hear this.
Yeah.
I didn't love this like at all.
Interesting.
Let's go through the tracks.
Okay,
Because I've got
take us
pretty
through.
good notes on some of these. Boy in the Bubble, I felt like was objectively a good song, but it wasn't clicking for me.
yeah.
Does it have an accordion in it?
There's
Can
a lot of
anyone
accordion
confirm
on this
that?
album.
Yeah.
That's a highlight. The
Yes.
accordion.
I thought you would like the accordion.
I ended up giving it a 4 out of 10. Originally, I had a 5 out of 10,
Mm-hmm.
but midway through this album, I was like, I'm being too easy on
Okay,
all of
yeah,
the
'cause
albums
you wanna
that
get
I've been
harsher,
doing,
right?
and I want to be harsher. I want to be more like my opinion,
wanna
not
live up
like
to the title.
Well, I see where people are coming from, so I got to give it a few more. What's the
Title
album
track.
title track?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the term. I was going to say cover song, and that's not what that means.
Yeah, The Funky Little Monkey by Paul Simon.
Graceland, I initially gave a 6 out of 10, but changed to a 5 out of 10. It's been used in The Simpsons. A little
Okay.
bit of Tom history.
Nice.
Oh,
It's better than Boy in the Bubble, but it still just isn't clicking for me.
Okay.
I think I just don't like Paul Simon.
Like his voice.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think I'm a fan of
As a
him.
person, actually.
I,
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
I
yeah.
guess I'm more of a Garfunkel guy. You know what I
I'm
mean?
not.
You would love the Animals
no,
Christmas,
you
dude.
you would hate that. You would
I probably
fucking hate
would.
You would despise
I
the lights
like-
in this one.
I definitely have heard Simon and Garfunkel songs. I
Yeah.
know I like them together.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a fan of either of them apart.
You if you don't like Paul Simon by himself,
Yeah,
you
you're
would,
not gonna
you
like
would
Art
hate
Garfunkel.
Art
We
Garfunkel
should do
by
an Art
himself.
Garfunkel album at some
I
point.
don't think he has anything critically acclaimed,
That's
unfortunately.
fair. That's fair. I Know What I Know featured.
I don't think I wrote this down.
General N.D. Sharinda?
Sharinda, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
okay.
I forgot the A. I just wrote Sharind. I
Is
don't
that like
know
the
why.
thing you inject into like people's arms?
No, that's Shireen.
I thought the song was very interesting. I enjoyed it.
yeah,
I still only gave it like a 5 out of 10, but I feel like
it was better.
you'll
than,
notice a trend that
Yeah.
all of the songs that feature other people are the ones that I like more.
Okay.
So
Okay.
any of the ones that have actual like other artists, African artists presumably,
Yeah, yeah.
are the ones that I enjoyed the most. So that I beat the racist allegations. Gumboots
a
sucked.
miracle.
It was a 3 out of 10, and part of me feels like I'm being nice with that.
What didn't you like about it?
I literally don't remember. I just remember it
The
being
instrumental?
fine.
Okay.
I think it was probably because it was one of the songs that was just Paul Simon, so his
It's-
vocals were like, I don't know, they just don't hit for me.
If I may interject, this is probably the weakest track on the entire record.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like
that
this
makes
one that much.
It just like I don't want to like give away like what I think about my tracks too much. Just want to give you your time, but
you're
I will spoil it. I frankly do not care for track number 4 at all.
Yeah.
I remember just like it was like in mid afternoon when I was listening to it, and I was like so tired, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden just this fucking ska track just starts playing, and I'm like, go fuck yourself, man! Like what the hell do you think
Shut
you're
the
doing?
fuck up, Paul
What
Simon.
the hell? This is not grace. This isn't graceful whatsoever.
How did you get here?
This is Grace Neitherland.
Continue, Tom.
Song number 5 was, I want to say, I'm pretty sure my favorite song on the album. Let me just double check.
I actually really like the song.
That
I have,
was
a lot
really
of,
good.
Yeah.
I have a lot of sentimental value toward this one.
Fucking called it.
I immediately, well, it's because I'm pretty sure I told you.
You did tell me that.
Because the three of us have hung out between recordings.
No, Tom, we don't exist outside of the podcast. You
You're
know
right.
this.
I
Yeah.
wish,
Well,
I wish we
No,
didn't.
We were hanging out in the void that we
Yeah.
go to between
in our
episodes.
test tubes.
God, I really
Yes.
fucking wish we didn't exist outside this podcast.
I immediately loved the background singers.
Yeah.
The people.
They're very good.
The backup singers, and it was definitely my favorite thus far. Primarily, probably because of them.
Yeah.
I don't remember much of the instrumental specifically. I imagine it was broadly fine since it
Yeah.
didn't mention it.
It changes halfway through from like acapella to like the kind of jazz stuff with the horns.
Yeah,
If that
but-
rings a bell.
A little bit.
Okay.
So, You Can Call Me Al. Yes, the famous song that I should know already, and I
Yeah.
think I did know already. I don't remember it as of now, if I'm being honest, but I probably
Did you
know
like it?
I give it a 4 out of 10.
Really interesting.
A little bit of Tom history, who was featured in New Girl,
I knew
The
that.
Goldbergs, This Is Us, and a stoner comedy movie from 2018 called Game Over Man.
Oh, let's go.
Which is if Die Hard was done by the 3 dudes from Workaholics.
Gotcha.
So like Adam Devine and then the 2 other ones.
Pizza Steve?
Workaholic.
Pizza Steve himself?
yeah, yeah, exactly. I didn't care for it. It has the chorus that I recognized, but I just
Didn't do anything
yeah.
for you. Damn.
Yeah,
But it has Chevy Chase in the music video.
I did
Your
know
favorite
that.
community star.
he's my least favorite character on that show. Unrelated to him being a shitty person in real life, he's my least favorite on that show, probably.
Which is the correct answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not great. I actually like some of the replacements they bring in for him in the later seasons.
I agree.
Anyway, track number 7, Under African Skies. The female vocals were really good. 4 out of 10. I don't think I like Paul Simon.
Yeah, I will say, part of the appeal of Simon and Garfunkel was that they kind of brought two things together. Like Paul Simon brought a lot of like the musical ideas and instrumentation, like composition.
Yeah.
And then Art Garfunkel brought the voice.
Yeah.
Because Art
Yeah, okay.
Garfunkel had this voice that was fucking insane. And paired together with like
The
Paul-
lyricism and
with the lyrics,
yeah.
just like the general like musicality of Paul Simon, and he was good at doing lower harmonies.
Yeah.
paired together with like the both of them, I feel like that's what made the duo like really shoot off into popularity. But by themselves, they're
just missing something.
I definitely do like Paul Simon, but I think vocally I can see why you wouldn't really like him. He's kind of flat in terms of like vocal styling. But he is a fantastic musician. Like I've seen a lot of his live stuff.
And the music was all really good, I feel like. Like it was very fun.
That's definitely the highlight.
But I just can't get past the fact that I don't like the way he sounds. And then I will say some of the musician stuff is like, objectively, this is good. But clearly they're like, he's going for something, and some of them just aren't clicking with me.
I gotcha.
So where was I?
Under African Skies. Yeah, Homeless.
Track number 8. It features Ladysmith Black Mambazo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they add a lot to this song.
They do.
Yes, the song's really good.
It's slower than I would have liked also. So I ended up giving it a 5 out of 10. Primarily 5 points to them. And the 5 missing are for Paul Simon. He's got to earn them, okay? You can't be one half of Simon and Garfunkel and just be, I'm not giving you points for free. You know what I mean?
You got to earn those, Paul.
Exactly. Crazy Love Volume 2, track number 9.
Yes.
A 3 out of 10. This is the point where I finally wrote, I think I don't like Paul Simon. It did absolutely nothing for me. It's in a movie called Like Crazy. I know nothing about it.
Never heard of it.
Neither do I.
Same here.
Song number 10, That Was Your Mother. A 5 out of 10. Features Good Rockin' Doopsie and the Twisters.
Yes. And
they were awesome. Yeah, they were great.
New Orleans Cajun Jazz.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Can't go wrong.
If I had to guess, these features are the funky background stuff. That's what I look at me. Yeah. I know music, guys.
Learning, man.
The funky background stuff was really good and earned 5 points.
And Paul Simon
earned
dropped
0
5 points.
I feel kind of bad. But not really.
I feel like the last episode, you accidentally said you rated things out of like fifths, and this is going to be the time where you start actually doing that.
4/5 out of a 5 out of 10.
4 out of 5 out of 10. 8/10 out of 10.
Yes. Yeah, we're going negative.
Oh boy.
No. All Around the World or The Myth of Fingerprints. That title needs some work.
Yeah, that's a one title I've ever heard one.
We can workshop that down a little bit, get something better going there. Features Los Lobos.
Yep.
Fun background instrumentals. That's about it.
I really like that
4
song.
out of 10. I thought it was fine.
Nice.
I'm at my final thought. That was the last song, correct?
Okay.
Unless I fully forgot something.
No, you're good. That's all of them. So essentially, we can tell Tom did not quite enjoy this album. But before we go into his final thoughts and ratings, we'll go into our thoughts. So, Matt, what did you think of Graceland?
So, I mean, I can definitely see where you're coming from with a lot of these. The features are very, very good.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of help bolster a lot of Simon's, or I guess Paul Simon. I don't know why I said it like it was his first name. Like, pick a name. You have 2 first names, okay? Pick one.
See, Art Garfunkel did it right.
Exactly. But anyway, what I was going to say was I can see where you're coming from with that, honestly, because I feel like they kind of bolster his songwriting a bit, especially when comparing such outstanding vocalists as like, I don't know, like Sharinda and like the Gaza sisters.
Yeah.
I feel like it's definitely hard to compare the two because like, you know, Paul Simon is a good like songwriter and stuff like that, but like they're so fucking like good.
Exactly, especially in this genre, what they're doing. Yeah.
To bring the energy up. I would say my favorite tracks are definitely like, I really liked The Boy in the Bubble. The drums were like perfect, in my opinion. I actually thought his delivery was pretty good on this opener. The brass band on the opener is really, really good in my opinion.
Yeah,
and the backing vocals too,
and the accordion.
Yeah, can't forget the keys.
Exactly.
Graceland, I really like the bass and the guitar. And again, I really like the lyrics on this one. And there's like this thud on beats 2 and 4 that like just really, I don't know. I mean, like, I liked them, but at the same time, like, I felt like at times it was a little too much.
I gotcha.
I did like track number 3.
Nice.
Pretty much for the same reasons why you liked track number 3, like what you liked about it, because the backing singers and really the feature, I should say, they just doing a fucking incredible job. Plus, it's got like a wiggly guitar at the end. You know? I hate Gumboots with like a burning passion. But I like the Boy Yo Yo Boys as they are featured later in the album. Like the next 2 songs, fucking perfect.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect in every way. But this track is a horrible way to introduce them.
It's not great.
No, it's terrible. Paul Simon, I have a PSA for you. don't ever do ska ever again.
Paul Simon, avid listener of the podcast.
That's true.
I might call the police if you ever do ska ever again. I'm not
band?
joking.
The police?
Exactly.
They know their ska, okay?
Sting is going to arrive at your door, and no, I'm
You'll
kidding.
see why they call him Sting, okay?
It's gonna be tantric.
Oh my god, yeah, no, I quite abhorred track number 4, unfortunately, and that most likely will never change. Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes is a favorite of mine.
Yeah, it's really good.
My girlfriend and I, we drive to the beach a lot, and we like to play tropical music, and this one just has like all the vibes to it. Especially like the beginning is so sensational as it is with the awa awa part.
Like the acapella purely.
But then you got like the guitar, and it sounds so like nice, calm, and peaceful, and like the drums are so good. You Can Call Me Al is a classic.
Yeah, it's
like
great.
one of my favorite 80s songs of all time, and I think this is another point where like Paul Simon's vocals are actually kind of good on here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and it's the hit of the album. Like, it's the hit.
Yeah.
Under African Skies is pretty good. It's a very nice come down after the last track. And I would say the last of the ones that like I really, really like is actually Crazy Love Volume 2.
Interesting.
Yeah. I did like track number 11, but I think honestly though, like all the tracks I mentioned that I really liked, those are all the ones. I think Crazy Love was kind of sweet.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like his songwriting quite a lot, and I feel like his lyricism actually shines on this one.
Gotcha.
So those are all the ones that I like.
Okay. I agree with you. I think Paul Simon is definitely not the strongest point on this album, which is a shame because it's a solo album.
Yeah.
But I think the idea and just kind of like the influences is what bolsters it up. Like all the features kill it, all the instrumentalists are fantastic, and I think they're the standout.
And I also feel like his, I'll say again, I know I keep saying this over and over. I feel like out of Simon and Garfunkel, not that I really want to say that that's all he is.
Yeah.
But what really drew people to Simon and Garfunkel, if you're talking about the contributions of the both of them, was Art singing, but Paul's songwriting.
Yeah.
Because he's a really good lyricist and a really good musician. And I think, frankly, like you see that a lot of like a lot more well-rounded tracks, I think, like all throughout his discography. But like, I would say though, like singing wise, it's really, really hard for him to compete with like a lot of people that he sings with.
Especially on this album.
No, without a doubt, without a doubt. But anyway, continue, AJ.
But the tracks I like, I Know What I Know is so much fun. I love it. It's kind of like a little anthem. It starts off like really bouncy, then they go into like the little chant during the chorus, which is really fun. Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes is beautiful. I love how it's split in half essentially. And I love the horns when they come in that section. And Tropical is a really good way to put it with those guitars. I also love the bass lines all throughout this album are really fucking well done.
Oh, yeah.
I love how it's like chunky and just how much like punch they have. It really adds like a lot of like weight to the album. Of course, You Can Call Me Al. It's a classic. I love all like the different little like licks and just different like song sections they put in. Like it's like the was it the tin whistle solo?
Yeah.
Which fucking rules.
It really does.
And I love the little bass lick. I think it's right before the last chorus where the solo. It's so much fun. I don't like Under African Skies. I really hate that song.
Okay, you know, I can kind of see why. I think it's pacing-wise a good come down after the previous one.
I agree there. It feels just like a church song to me. It's very churchcore.
Yeah, which is another thing about Simon and Garfunkel. They are low-key a little bit churchcore.
Yeah.
You can see that in a few of their albums. They literally have a song called Benedictus.
Gotcha.
Benedict this. You know what I mean?
Matt adds some
on my
clapping
dick
effects.
till I
Funkle. Till I funkle.
she art on my guard till I funkle. We did it. We
right,
made
guys.
the best joke.
Wrap it up.
Final thoughts. Get the final thoughts in fast.
We're losing them.
Continue, AJ.
I think did I write her name down? Linda Ronstadt. She's definitely like the highlight. Her voice, at least. I don't care for what she's singing about because it just doesn't interest me.
That's fair.
Homeless is really well done. Like the nice kind of like Zulu vocal, like purely Zulu vocal.
Yeah.
And Paul Simon, he does like a decent job of like kind of chiming in here and there. I really like That Was Your Mother. Just a really just fun kind of theme song. Just like Cajun jazz is really cool. And I really actually love the closer. It reminds me a lot of They Might Be Giants.
Okay. Do you like They Might Be Giants?
I do.
Dude, I like They Might Be Giants.
Holy shit, we should start a podcast.
I know.
That's so crazy.
Palindrome. So good. So fucking good. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, just like the influence there, it just gave me like so much, it reminded me so much of Lucky Ball and Chain from Flood.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I could really see like the influences here. So that just really kind of stood out to me. And the accordion comes back and it's a lot of fun. And I think it's a nice way to kind of close the album. So I guess that'll bring us to our final thoughts then. So Tom, did you hate this album?
Kinda.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Fair enough.
My overall score, a 3 out of 10.
Damn.
So in the ranking, where is this falling in between?
Let me see. Actually,
Oh, with your
have-
handy dandy new
Yeah.
Excel spreadsheet.
I officially made the spreadsheet, guys.
I still got to do mine.
It's okay. We got
Where
some
did
weeks.
it end up?
Some weeks, yeah. You don't get to fucking know when we're recording this.
Exactly.
Uh,
But this is recorded before the day this episode
Yeah,
comes out.
exactly.
Paul Simon, Graceland, number 14 out of 16
Okay.
total, behind Tame Impala,
Interesting.
but above American football.
Yay.
I gave this a D minus,
Damn.
3. I just didn't care for it,
Didn't
if I'm
click
being
for you.
honest.
Just Paul Simon just didn't
I
resonate.
hated Paul on this album, and every feature added so much, but I feel like I can't give an album a really high score when it's a solo album.
Yeah.
And he's the one thing on the album I didn't like.
That's
Like
very
every
fair.
other
Point,
aspect
actually.
of the album is good except for him.
Yeah.
And like I know the musicality is him, and even that like was predominantly fine in my opinion. Like there was never any point where I was like, "Oh shit,
It's Paul, dude.
is predominantly fire," as I said earlier.
It's predominantly Paul. Here.
Paul dominantly fire. I hate myself. I was just very bland on his own. I don't know Art Garfunkel either, if I'm being honest. Like I was
telling you,
saying, I'm a
Animals
Garfunkel
Christmas.
guy.
You're gonna love
Don't
it.
listen to him. You're not
Guys,
going to like
the
it.
fucking let's do the holiday special next
Oh,
year
yes.
if you keep me around long enough.
I will never listen to that album again. Like I'm more than I had enough
It's
of the
more
white
than you deserve.
I had enough of the white bird.
That's
okay?
true. He did say a
Seriously.
lot of slurs that episode. That's pretty bad.
across the album actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
me on this episode.
It's a white
After I was being accused of racism earlier in the episode.
I'll take it out. I'll take it.
No, why not?
Well, now it's established.
I feel like I beat the allegations with my review.
That's actually kind of
my,
true.
my review is the one white man was really bad. So and everyone else was tremendously talented, and I found Paul Simon kind of bland. Bad feels wrong. I don't know if bad is the word,
Mediocre.
but like yeah.
That's fair.
And if it's a solo album and the entire time you're mediocre, you're getting a 3. You know what I mean? Honestly, maybe it should be lower, but we'll leave it at a 3 for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's your final thoughts.
Yep. And on next episode, I'll review the whole list at some
Oh,
point.
that's true. Because
maybe.
next episode is our season finale.
Who knows? Potentially.
Ring that bell.
If they don't,
Well,
offer me enough money in my next contract, I'm walking.
Well, I mean, the season finale is like a regardless. Like I think you confuse season with series.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I won't be in the next season unless you pay me enough money on my next contract.
But you said season finale potentially.
Because
Oh.
he's not. Wait.
Wait, you meant series
So
finale.
it is definitely a season finale. Yeah, that's my bad.
No,
it
it's
could
okay.
be a series
I
finale.
thought I stroked out. My
if they
bad.
don't, if they
That's
don't
okay. Now
offer me,
you guys are going to be ghastly.
if they don't offer me enough love and respect on my next contract,
As we're known to do.
Yes.
You know,
Tom
like,
gets paid in hugs and kisses.
it's true. It's true.
we're gonna take you to Graceland, Tom.
Smoochy, smoochy.
Matt, what did you think of Graceland? Final thoughts.
I will say overall, I could really get behind the instrumentation. There are a lot of moments where I just really applauded like the musical ideas that Paul put in the record. I like the way this album kind of plays with like certain genres while also like paying close attention to what the sound of the 80s was. Like I can very much appreciate it for that. And the big single doesn't even sound like out of place, which is
Yeah.
what really like fascinated me about this, like pacing wise and just
Exactly.
overall like consistency wise.
Yeah.
I can definitely kind of see someone getting a bit fatigued from this album, I'd say.
Yeah.
The runtime isn't like that bad, but like I can also definitely see someone getting fatigued. And like given some of the controversies around this record, I can also see why it'd be up for debate whether or not you should
Exactly,
like, you know
yeah.
what I mean? Especially given the timing that this all was like being recorded and like produced and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I think it is definitely an album that is stapled into like musical history over the last few decades. It's like a staple album for like the 80s. And I think this is one of like the biggest albums of Paul Simon's career from what I could
I
like.
believe it's his biggest solo album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. This is the peak.
This is the peak, Tom.
3 out of 10 is the peak.
To be honest with you, unfortunately, I do think that I made a lot of comparisons to his duo project.
Yeah.
Which is really, really hard not to, because I am a diehard like Simon and Garfunkel fan.
I
Like,
ship them.
We've always known that about you.
I very much love like both their material. So I think unfortunately, given that, it was really hard for me to not compare it.
I got you.
Especially since you made the very good point of like without like the really incredible singers, it's a little bit like
Imbalanced.
Yeah, imbalance is a very, very good word.
Bad is the word I would use.
But I know he's a great songwriter, so my ranking's still pretty, I think, fair. I would give this like I'd give this like maybe a 7, maybe like a 7.9 out of 10, because I think it is very good instrumentally and like musically.
Yeah.
Like you can't refute any of that.
Yeah, like the crux of this album, like the entire theme is the selling point, and it's done very well.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it loses points for me because like I didn't consciously think this, but you kind of bringing up a very like subconscious thing with me, Tom, where like I feel like definitely like the vocal delivery of the main person might not have been enough for me to be like, oh, this is gonna be like my favorite album of all time. But I think it's definitely worth like a listen. Like
Absolutely.
People who are like huge music enthusiasts, especially like music historians, this is like an album that you definitely should listen to.
It's very important in music history.
You should listen. You shouldn't just listen to hits, right? You should listen to like the whole, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
as a
fully
whole.
disagree. Only listen to the hits.
Well,
Only
if you're a
listen to
music
Ninja Sex
enthusiast,
Party.
is what I'm saying.
If you're a music enthusiast, listen to other episodes of this podcast. Here on Tom Hates Albums, I only talk
If you're a
shit.
degenerate, listen to WWE soundtracks.
I'm saying,
First of all, they're really good. You don't even get it, man.
They got Nickelback, dude.
Dude, it's all hits.
It's all back, no fat.
in terms of letter ranking, I'm just gonna say, what was it?
Rating 7, and music enthusiasts.
Music. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like if you're a music enthusiast and you're like, oh, this is a cool track, like for the hit,
Yeah.
you should definitely listen to this album in full because it's definitely part of like I lost where I was going.
It's an
with
important
that.
part of like a movement that was happening in the 80s. It's very like a crucial in that kind of time frame of like Talking Heads Remain in Light, Peter Gabriel So, just kind of like bringing like these African influences into the mainstream in the US. And this was like probably one of the most popular to do it.
Yeah.
And it definitely, I think, even though he's like accused of appropriating, which I can 100% agree.
I can see that without a doubt. Yeah.
I think there's still benefits to him like bringing those influences to the West and kind of like giving their due.
So I would say letter wise, I'd give this like a low B.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that's a pretty fair score because the parts that he does do right, he does very well. But I don't see myself really listening to anything else besides Diamonds on Souls of Her Shoes.
Yeah.
You Can Call Me Al, and number 4, Gumboot.
Yeah.
I don't think... I feel like Gumboot is genuinely the one track on here that I will forever like take away as my
It'll
favorite.
stay in your heart.
As my favorite track.
I'll put on those gum boots every day.
Every fucking day, you know?
The diamonds on the soles of those gum boots, and you're in.
But yeah, 7.9 out of 10 and a low B. That's what I'm kind of, I think, okay leaving it as.
Gotcha. I think that's very fair. I used to not really care for this album when I first listened to it, but I definitely grew an appreciation the more I listened to it, as everything goes on this fucking show.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is a thing that happens a lot. You guys
Yeah.
re-listen to albums and then come back like, you know what? I think that was
pretty good.
harsh.
Which
I
is the
feel
joy
like-
of music listening.
I feel like I go the other direction.
Yeah.
And almost every time I've revisited something, I'm like,
wow,
this
this
is worse
sucks.
than I remember.
Loveless is going to be a long
American football situation.
long process.
I gotcha.
Some tracks are better than others, AJ, but it hasn't moved from like a letter grade. I can tell you that
That's
much.
okay, Matt.
Meatloaf might move up, honestly, for me.
That's okay. That's oh really? Whoa! I will have to wait and see till next month for the final rank. I don't fucking know.
I didn't move it up. I can tell you all
Okay,
that. now.
okay.
But there is exciting changes to the list. That wasn't.
Okay.
I don't want to. I think
You don't wanna
what I'm
spoil- you're
what I'm
spoiling
saying
magic,
is
Tom,
I
come
like
on.
Meatloaf more than I did like specifically Paradise. I really am all about that song.
Yeah.
It didn't change the ranking though.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I've
gotcha.
improved, but it's still 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Okay,
sense.
I apologize for interrupting what you were saying.
It's okay. I'm used to it.
Hey, that's the whole crux of the show. right?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, actually, please continue.
Oh, okay. So
so
I am
Meatloaf,
Tom,
you were saying.
and I hate albums.
I thought you were
Wow.
about to be like, and I hate AJ.
That too.
Tom Hates AJ.
I'm only here for the hugs and kisses.
Tom Hates AJ is actually the name of their video game Let's Play project.
Audio only podcast. Let's Play.
Tom Hates AJ.
Oh my god.
It's just him backseat gaming me the whole time.
It's such a bad bit.
And then it's perfect. 'Cause then it could be like a roundabout thing where I'm the Tom of that like series because I'm terrible at video games. So then Tom can yell at me for allegedly picking Q in Wheel of Fortune, even though I didn't. I didn't pick Q.
You picked Q.
Let's not get into Q allegations, okay?
I did not pick Q.
The Q allegations that we can get back to them a different day off the podcast. Back to Graceland. I wouldn't say this is quite an American football situation for me. I definitely appreciate it more than the first time I listened to it. I would agree that the sum of its parts is greater than I guess what Paul Simon is bringing to the table. As I said, all the instrumentalists are amazing. The bass line specifically I want to highlight is just being really memorable. I love all the different kind of like sections he plays with. It's stuff you wouldn't really expect, and it keeps things very interesting throughout. Mm-hmm. Yet also sounding like consistent throughout the entire album. And they're just some like really just good isolated songs on their own. And as an album flow, I think it also flows pretty well with a couple stinkers in there.
This is a couple.
Yeah. And I think it's very important. And I think music enthusiasts should give it a listen because it's very like relevant for the 80s.
Yes, without a doubt.
But I'd probably have to say it's like a solid B tier. It's fine for what it is, but it's just okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I honestly would really, really agree with that. But Tom, I do have a question for you. Why do you think people like this album?
I don't know, man. I mean, Paul Simon is a very famous musician, so clearly there's
like a legacy to that.
Yeah. Like people who liked him before are probably sticking around for that. And all the Garfunkel people who realized that he's not great by himself without good songwriting went to Paul Simon.
We'll see what he's got.
But then I wonder how many people were just like, oh, Simon, his vocals aren't as good. I'm going to go to our Garfunkel. And then they went to him and it was bad. And we're like, never mind.
Oh, fuck, what do we do now?
It's like a flow chart.
Literally,
Time to find a new favorite band, I guess. What's Daft Punk doing?
They're not around.
Oh shit, they broke up. They broke up.
All right, let's go to Peter Gabriel.
Anyway, continue.
Creed?
Not yet.
No, Apollo Creed from the Rocky movie.
Oh, his solo career, yeah, that took off.
I don't know when Simon and Garfunkel were around.
Like this late 60s.
It was late 60s.
Okay, so none of these things are out.
And then early 70s they disbanded.
What happened in the 60s?
Vietnam? Wait, yeah, Vietnam?
Question mark?
The Beach Boys? The Beatles?
But was it the like prime Beach Boys?
It was.
Yeah,
Like-
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Like with Stamos?
No.
It's the fact that you don't see it coming every time.
Yeah, I should know better by now at this fucking point. That's purely on me.
I don't get it though. I just didn't enjoy this album. I mean, I really enjoyed big parts of it.
Yeah.
Which are the only reason I feel like it got a higher scores on some of the songs because of the like other people that were a part of it.
Yeah.
So I imagine if you like Paul Simon and you were like you're a fan of his vocals and his musicality, then they add
This influence,
these other
from
influence that is also like that is incredible, then it's just gonna raise it up higher.
Exactly.
So like, I see the appeal if you like Paul Simon. I hate the man, I guess. So I'm not a fan.
I might just call this episode Tom Hates Paul Simon.
That would be funny.
I deadass might
I
actually
say
do
go
that.
for it.
Tom Hates Paul Simon.
I feel like that actually would
Tom
be pretty
hates
good.
funny.
Just do Tom Hates Paul, and then we never address whether it's Mueller or Simon.
Paul Heyman.
I hate Paul because he's still up there in that top 5, holding me back from holding almost all of the spots.
Well, not on Spotify.
Okay, that's good. The
Yeah.
Pentatonics episode didn't do well on Spotify?
No.
Good.
I would imagine it wouldn't.
No.
I hold like the top 4 of the top like 7 on YouTube right now.
Bet you feel
including
real
the new
proud of yourself,
I
Tom.
do. I do. I'm one view away from being top 4 of the top 6.
I edited most of those. I'm so happy.
Honestly, I just think it's the format of this show is a little shorter, and people are more likely to listen to the entirety of a 40-minute thing than something longer.
I also feel like Tom Hates paired with a critically acclaimed album draws
the
a lot
term
of people
hate,
in. Yeah.
Surprisingly, not a lot of hate comments on that one, though.
Exactly, yeah. But anyway, enough of behind the scenes bullshit. I guess that'll do it for this episode of Tom Hates Albums. Then
Yeah.
didn't quite find a good one this week, but that's okay.
Now, next month, though,
Oh,
that's going to be the big one.
Banger for you
The
next month.
finale.
The season finale.
The season finale.
The
Yes.
finale of my life.
We got a really fun album plan for the next episode,
Yes, we
and then we
do.
also got Tom's overall ranking.
That's
Should
true.
should we announce what the next album is so that people are excited? They're looking forward to next month.
I think they can wait.
They can wait. Yeah,
You're right. You're
Heaven
right.
can wait. In fact,
As Meatloaf once said.
That's Meatloaf.
Well, this has been another episode of Tom Hates Albums.
Yeah, I do.
I'm AJ Tenari.
I'm Matt Glass.
And I'm Tom Murphy.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Bye.